G'day YouTube, JB from Oz here. So Emma's competition is taking a step up in that I've seen this lovely photograph of the prize. Mel's been working pretty hard of late, and I know we've got the entry in for his gear cutting attachment for the shaper, but in the meantime there's another project that's been on my list of things to do. Now I know everybody out there in YouTube machinist land is also probably thinking, man, it'd be so cool to have a 3D printer, all the things I could do with it. So, gentlemen, what we have here today is a pile of bits. Now there's another video which will detail why I've got this pile of bits, but suffice to say, we're going to make a 3D printer. And if I manage to get this printer working, I'm going to print a set of 3D printer parts to put in as another prize for Emma's competition. So I've got some work to do. Let's get into it. I think for this introductory video we'll build the Y-axis. So let's dive in. So first thing we've got is a stack of fasteners, fittings to put together. See if I can remember how this thing goes together. Alright, so we'll put one of those in here, throwing everything everywhere. This is our attempt for world record fastest 3D printer build. What do you reckon? So typically the sort of thing I'm asked a lot is, oh, what 3D printer would you buy if you wanted to go out and buy a 3D printer? Well, I recommend the Prusa i3 as being a pretty awesome design. He's got a Mark II kit that's now available on his website, link down below in the doobly-doo. Doobly-boo. And there are lots of other ones out there, a lot of Chinese stuff. If you look at some of my other videos, my goal there is to attempt to explain what some of the pitfalls are, what to avoid. So that should help to at least give some sort of an indication of what it is that you're getting yourself into if you decide you're going to buy a kit and try and put one together. Alrighty, progress. 1, 2. I like to put the washers so that the sharp edges are facing inwards to the plastics. We all know how strong we are. It's very important not to over tighten the plastics so that we don't break them. Okay. So the Y-axis is the first component we're building here, and kind of sets the frame for the rest of the printer. So this is the front of the printer. Bing bango, a wheel. So we'll slap one of those in. Spacer. Nice, very nice. Just the right size. M8 goes through. Wash it and nail up. Not too worried specifically about where the parts are right this second, but we will get to that. Alright, that's half of our frame. Now we want to go to the back, which is where our motor sits. One of those, one of these, one of those, one of these. I've got a website which details the bill of materials and all the parts required for this particular printer build I'm doing. I'll link that also down in the description. And we're at the 5-minute mark already. Gee, doesn't time fly when you're having fun. Alright, so I need to get washers on there. One of those. And again, another washer. Not worrying too much about lubrication and all this sort of stuff. It will tighten up, we'll snug it up nicely. There'll be a bit of room to move on it when we do that. And obviously there'll be a bit of fine tuning of all the positioning of all these items. But we're starting to build up a bit of a rigid frame here. Another couple of nuts. One, two. Three, four. One of those. 1, 2. And there we go. A couple of ends. One, two, three, four. Okay, that's our second set of ends. Now we have our main rods, which again with a couple of threads. So this set of nuts is to actually secure our vertical frame. Alright, okay, another couple, 1, 2. Same again. A couple of washers. Another nut. Okay, a couple of nuts. 1, 2. This is where we find out if we've got enough parts. 1, 2. Now, 2, shit, 1, 2, here. And then another couple. Run away. She's a bit wobbly, but she'll come good. 1, 2. There. Snuggle. Another one there. So now, what we have is the beginning of a gantry. Starts to look good. Alright, now we make some room. We get our plate. One, two, three. Bearings. Move aside the electricals. Everybody can see. Alright, now we need some cable ties. We go down. And up. And then we can use a second cable tie across the top. So nice and simple, one cable tie. Holds the bearing, job done. By keeping things nice and level, we keep our profile short. Sometimes the temptation is to continue the cable tie over. But we're not going to do that. That's one side down, back up and through. Another one here. So now 1, 2, 3. We need to add 2 other cable ties. One there, one there. A bit of a tighten up. So, there we have our wire bed. we want to add our drive. Got a cable chain modification that I've produced and put onto this one. So we want to put our two fixings, 1, 2. So, critical, don't over tighten, just snug it up. Now we want to position the bed on our rails. Rail, rails. A little bit of a fiddle. Okay. Alright. We have our first axis. So as we tighten, just snuggle it up, making sure that we don't distort any of the frames as we go. Again. So what we've done there is we've set the length of these to the length of the shafts. We've got nice smooth motion. Now we can tweak the position of these guys, leveling them out, making them nice and central. Spend as much time as you want on it. Okay, so testing for motion. So without any real expensive machinery or tools or measurements or anything like that, it's possible to set this up just by feel. Centering the shafts loosening off the bits you're not tightening in just yet. So really what we're doing is squaring up this frame. Okay. Front to back, left to right. Now we have our X frame. Watch for the other videos as I build the rest of this printer. And as I say, if I get this done in time, there might even be some printer parts as an extension to Emma's prize. So watch this space. Thanks for watching.